The Your Mark on the World show is made possible by our sponsors, including Clean Energy Advisors.
Welcome to Your Mark on the World, bringing you another changemaker with champion of social good, Devin D. Thorpe.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Your Mark on the World show. I'm your host, Devin Thorpe, and we're producing this episode for GoodCrowd.info, and our guest today is one of my dear friends and colleagues and peers in the whole social entrepreneurship podcasting world. In fact, one of the very few people that's doing, I like to think, almost exactly what I do. He does it so much better in so many ways, but Tony Loyd is the executive producer of the Social Entrepreneur podcast. Tony, welcome back to the show.
No, thanks, Devin. I really appreciate you having me here. And the best part of that intro was you said I was your friend. So I'm going to chalk that one up in the friend column there. That's good.
No, I'm honored to call you a friend and grateful for our long association. But it's great to have you on the show.
Thanks.
You are in the process of doing a couple of things, maybe three, and I want to make sure we tie them all together in a way that makes sense here. But I think that you are about to launch your show on the radio, which is really exciting. You are completing the writing of a book, which is wonderful, and I know what a feeling that is to finish a book. Oh my gosh, it's so much work to do a book. And then you're doing a crowdfunding campaign to sort of launch those two things together. So I want to make sure we talk about all of them, but let's start by talking about moving the show to the radio.
Right.
How did that come about, and where's it going to be? How will people find it?
You know, one of my favorite phrases I've been using over the last year, and people seem to resonate with this, is miracles find you while you're in motion. Right? So when you're out and about, you're doing things and you're in motion with something, it just, that's your opportunity to run into synchronicity, right? If you're sitting at home on your sofa and you're playing, video games and you're complaining that you haven't run into any synchronicity events in your life, well, get off the sofa and go start producing something, right? So because in the last 18 months or so, in fact, it's just over 18 months, I've been producing a small body of work, and nothing compared to what you're producing, Devin, but a small body of work. And so that body of work is out there and it's discoverable. And my wife and I went to a play one night, and we were in the audience and in a small theater, and the ladies sitting behind us were chatting, and one of them said, well, I'm trying to make my show kind of like Prairie Home Companion. And my wife turned around and engaged with her and said, so what kind of show do you have? And so she said, oh, I'm on the radio, and here's what I do, and I'm trying to produce a show. And she said, oh, well, that's wonderful. And so we engaged. And at the end of the night, we exchanged business cards. And she saw my card that I had a podcast. Well, she connected me with the station manager. They listened to a couple of the episodes, and then they called me in for a meeting. And they said, we're interested in putting you on the air. And so that it was like, because this body of work existed, it's because my wife engaged, it's because because Lori, the woman who engaged with us, she was kind enough to connect us to the station manager. So all these little acts of synchronicity sort of came to the fact that I've been offered this chance. And the one thing I do want to point out about this, Devin, is it's not just on the radio. It's on the radio on Monday mornings at 7 a.m. during drive time, which is just what an amazing opportunity to share stories of people doing social good.
Yeah. It's a really special opportunity. That is for sure very exciting, and I congratulate you for
Thank you.
Nailing that, because that really is a big deal.
Yeah.
Now, tell us a little bit about your book. Your book looks amazing, too. I haven't had a chance to read it yet.
Sure.
Not publicly for sale, as I understand it, but you're finishing, or it's finished now.
Right. So we're in the last edits with it, and you know what that's like. You're back and forth with the editor a few times. So this is probably edit number 780 or something. It's like so we're back and forth with the edits, and we're about to land right now with the book. But so a few things happened with the book. So one was, on my 150th podcast episode, I went back and I listened to the part of each of the interviews where the social entrepreneur gave their best advice to aspiring social entrepreneurs. And so I captured all those in little audio snippets, and then we transcribed them. And then I started sort of writing out themes. So I was thinking I was going to write a blog post about this, about what are the 10 themes, or what are the themes, and as it turns out there were 10 themes. What are the themes that come out of 150 social entrepreneurs saying, here's my advice to aspiring and early stage social entrepreneurs? So in the middle of all that, then the radio opportunity came up, the crowdfunding. I really needed to crowdfund in order to land this opportunity in the radio. And so I was speaking with Tom Dawkins, who I think you know. He's with Start Some Good. And so Tom was talking about, rewards and how important rewards are. And if there's something that's unique or something that you personally can produce that's different, and also just, something that's in alignment with your mission, the rewards are really important. And so we brainstormed a little bit, and I said, I have all this stuff that I just put together. I'm thinking about writing this blog post, but it's getting out of hand. And so eventually what I came up with was this would make a great book. And so I've written the book, and it's, like I said, it's still with the editor, but the book is called Crazy Good Advice: 10 Lessons Learned from 150 Leading Social Entrepreneurs. And so I could tell you the story about why we call it Crazy Good if you want, but
why is it called Crazy Good Advice?
Well, if you've ever spoken with Looney Libis, I think his last name is.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. I had him on the show 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, he's really one of the thought leaders in this space. But when I interviewed Looney, and he said this to other people too, but when I interviewed Looney, he said, look, when you tell your friends and your family and your spouse and your kids and everybody that you're starting up a business like this, and they tell you you're crazy, you're not right, they're right. And so you have to be crazy to do this because it's fraught with perils. It's really a difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
So if you're going to go through the trouble of doing something like this, you might as well have the biggest impact you possibly can. And so that really became kind of the theme, I think. And you, in fact, you inspired me too, Devin. You put together a video where you talked about it's the crazy people who make the difference, right? And I was right in the middle of writing this book, and I had that chapter, and I had the theme, and I had the title. And then you came along, and you were seeing the exact same thing. It's the people who are crazy enough to do this stuff that make the biggest impact.
And I meant that quite literally, and I don't mean to be flippant or casual, but there is a real clear illogic to a lot of entrepreneurship, including most social entrepreneurship efforts, that they just can't possibly pay off at the scale that would be appropriate to deliver a rational financial return based on my experience in Wall Street, in doing financing for 25 years.
Right.
It just doesn't pencil. As Looney was saying, your friends, your family, they're right. It is crazy. And yet those people do, it's because they believe that they can change the world that they do. Yeah. They take incredible risks, make incredible sacrifices, and make an incredible difference. So
exactly,
great point. I'm excited to read your book. It's just going to be phenomenal. I can't wait. Now, let's talk about the crowdfunding campaign. You talked a little bit about it. You talked about Tom Dawkins, great guy. I've been following Start Some Good for years, and I'm so excited because it is the social entrepreneur crowdfunding for rewards kind of platform. It's really the only one built for that group. I'm excited that you're there. But tell us a little bit about the rewards. Tell us about how people can find it. Let's make sure people know what's going on at Start Some Good today.
Sure. So, if people are looking for it, the easiest way I think to find it is to go to tonyloyd.com/startsomegood. But the only trick to that is my last name is spelled with one L. And so people often misspell it. So it's tonyloyd.com/startsomegood. And that will get you right to the right page on Start Some Good. But when they get there, there's the standard video at the top that sort of explains what I'm trying to do. And really what I'm trying to do, Devin, is like you said, you and I are kind of in the same space. I mean, the more that we can help social entrepreneurs tell their stories in ways that are engaging, informing, inspiring, then people become inspired to give their time, talent, and treasure to these social entrepreneurs, or maybe become a change maker themselves. And so that's really what we're trying to do. We're trying to double the number of episodes we're doing. We're trying to get tens of thousands of additional listeners. And then as they get down into the rewards section, well, the first thing obviously is the new book. And so that was the first thing we came up with. So they can get it in digital form. They can get it in a paperback form. So my wife has illustrated the book, and she's a talented graphic artist. And if you're familiar with the book, Steal Like an Artist. So it's kind of in that vein. So it's very heavily graphically illustrated. And one of the rewards is that she will hand ink a drawing inside of your book for you and send it to you. You can come to my house for a pizza party. You can co-host a podcast episode with me. So there are all kinds of, I call it fabulous gifts and prizes, right? So there's all kinds of rewards that people can pick up. But really, I hope the primary reason that people land on the page is just simply because they think this is something important to see in the world, to see more social entrepreneurs tell their stories, to have tens of thousands of additional listeners, and to have more people inspired to do social good. And then there's more stories to be told. So you and I will continue to be busy for the rest of our lives telling these stories.
Yeah, well, it is so fun, so exciting. A crowdfunding campaign really is a high stress but high fun kind of activity. You've raised about 35% of your goal.
Right.
Your crowdfunding campaign ends on June 17th.
Yes.
And so you've got some room there that you need to fill, and that's exciting. It puts a little pressure on you, but certainly you're doing so many of the right things that I'm optimistic you'll be successful there. Tony, you really are a remarkable guy, but who do you look up to as a role model? Who do you see as an example that you follow?
So there are so many, Devin. I mean, obviously you're one of my heroes. You're one of the people I really admire and enjoy and hope to emulate a little bit. And I think last time you and I talked, I mentioned how much my wife is somebody that I admire. I'd say my guests are the ones that just inspire me. So everyone from, Carrie Rich with the Global Good Fund, who just is doing so much good in the world, to, there's a small organization called Mama Moni who funds. They do little crowdfunding campaigns for women social entrepreneurs, and so they go from these small scale, almost mom and pop operations, all the way up to Bill Drayton that we talked to, and these global organizations. I have Cheryl Dorsey coming up as somebody I'll be talking to, and so there are just there's so many people that I talk to on a day-to-day basis. They just I leave those conversations just inspired and motivated and wanting to go do more, and just sort of almost regretting that I can't do more than I'm already doing. So I'd say my guests are really kind of my heroes.
Oh, that's great. Now, you are a super talented guy. You've had a very successful career, consulting and advising Fortune 500 companies. You could be doing anything. Why do this now?
Yeah. Well, I think, so as I think about it, part of what I'm trying to do, Devin, and I think you do this too, is I'm trying to tell the whole story. So right now, if I turn on the television or the radio, as you and I are talking, James Comey is testifying before Congress, and people are glued to their radios and television and social media and all that. And there is great drama in the world. And in fact, if you want to be outraged, it takes about 3 minutes of turning on Facebook or Twitter or something and hitting the wrong hashtag, and next thing you know, you are just outraged. But I think what I'm really trying to do here is tell the whole story. Yes, there are outrageous things in the world. There are things that we should just really be upset about. And yet there are solutions too. So let's not just tell half the story. Let's tell the whole story. And the whole story includes people who are out there who are taking on these big challenges, who are making an impact in the world. I heard somebody describe it this morning. They said, we need fewer watchdogs and more guide dogs. We need people who can guide us to those solutions that already exist in the world and that we can all rally around and support. So that's part of what I'm trying to do here.
No, fantastic. Well, I love that you're doing that. Tony, what is your superpower?
I have cool friends. That's my superpower. So I get to hang out with amazing people like you and with my guests, and people are kind to me and they like me and they help me and support me and they bring me onto their show and they do things like this. So if there's any superpower I have, it's just simply that the world is filled with kindness, and I just continue to find it wherever I go.
Fantastic. Well, Tony, we sure appreciate you taking the time to be on the show today. Before you go, tell us how people can connect with you and learn more, especially about the crowdfunding campaign.
Yeah. If they're looking for the crowdfunding campaign, like I said, they can go to tonyloyd.com/startsomegood. So it's TonyLoyd.com/startsomegood. I also have the first chapter of the book is available for free. So that's at tonyloyd.com/free chapter, all one word, free chapter. They can find me on Twitter at Tony Loyd, with one L again, Tony Loyd. I'm on Facebook, and but TonyLoyd.com is the primary place to go look for me.
Fantastic. Well, Tony, thank you very much for being with us. And we wish you every success, not only on your crowdfunding campaign, but with the launch of your book and the launch of the new radio show. And we congratulate you for all the success you're having.
Thanks, Devin. Thanks for having me.
All righty. Let's do some good. Clean Energy Advisors creates investment opportunities in the renewable energy sector that provide clients with predictable income, preservation of capital, and positive impact. Clean Energy Advisors is committed to providing clients with investment opportunities with both market rates of return and measurable impact.
Thank you for listening. This podcast was recorded via Google Hangouts on Air and is available at youtube.com/Devin Thorpe. Subscribe to this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes by searching for Your Mark on the World. Every weekday, Devin hosts a CEO, celebrity, entrepreneur, or other changemaker here on the Your Mark on the World show to inspire and prepare you to make your mark. Devin is a champion of social good, writing about, advocating for, and advising people who are doing good. He is a Forbes contributor who is a recognized thought leader in social entrepreneurship, impact investing, and crowdfunding. To book Devin as a speaker, visit devinthorpe.com. Learn more about Devin's work at yourmarkontheworld.com.